This week, put one reaction in the bowl with me. You are standing in a kitchen that is no longer there. The light is flat. Something is burning on the stove. A voice lands with the same pitch you learned before language could protect you. Then the image breaks, because you are not 7. You are 35, in a therapist's room or your own apartment, holding a glass of water while your chest tightens first. So ask the uncomfortable question, when did your body decide before you did? Last bowl, we met the stamp machine, the layer that marks experience as about me. But where did that machine read its criteria? What register did it consult before your conscious mind arrived? By the time you can say, I am triggered, the reaction is already moving. Nothing in the room changed. No smoke entered. No one shouted. The chair stayed soft. The ceiling did not become your childhood ceiling. Still, your heart rate climbed. Your breathing narrowed. The muscles around your stomach pulled inward as if the old room had opened under the floor. Your samplers, the first 5 sense channels, caught a fragment, a tone, a smell, an angle of light. The fragment was small. The body response was not. Popular language calls this inner child work. Sometimes it calls it reparenting. Sometimes, after a powerful session, it calls it a breakthrough. The change you feel can be real. The release can be real. But if the reaction arrives before the story, then the story is not the first thing to examine. And if that old kitchen is not a room you enter, but a river still running, then healing has been misdrawn from the start. There is a name for the layer underneath this. The Storehouse, Ālaya-vijñāna, the 8th consciousness. Do not picture a basement full of childhood scenes. The storehouse is not where the mind keeps photographs. It stores weighted tendencies. Which signals matter? Which patterns feel like danger? Which old paths conduct faster when pressure returns? That means the 3 systems from the first 2 bowls were never operating alone. The samplers read with weights supplied from below. The stamp machine applies me criteria supplied from below. The inference engine builds cause and effect stories from templates supplied from below. The storehouse does not reason. It does not narrate. It does not stamp. In modern neuroscience language, this layer is closest to the prior concept in predictive processing. The whole circuit receives its distribution from underneath. So when the room is calm and the body still fires, you are not watching memory playback. You are watching stored tendency become current, before the narrator in your head can ask what happened. The trigger does not need to be dramatic. A man's voice has the same edge as your father's. A pan in the next apartment gives off a faint burnt smell. Afternoon light cuts across a table at the wrong angle. Conscious access may notice none of this cleanly. The samplers notice enough. Watch the timing. Your jaw can lock before the sentence in your head has found the word anger. In Joseph Ledoux's fear research, threat signals can take a faster subcortical route from thalamus to amygdala before cortical labeling finishes. Zions put the psychological point bluntly. Affect can arrive before inference. This does not prove every trigger is unconscious. Hold one fact. Systems can begin before narration catches up. Your body does not wait for a press release from consciousness. When a fragment matches an old groove, water starts down the path. The inference engine receives a reaction already in progress. This is where the old metaphor fails. The popular picture says, somewhere inside there is a child in a room. Find the child, speak kindly, repair the scene, and leave. But that room is a late Western trauma container, one way modern therapy learned to hold the image. The Yogacara texts had a phrase for it 1,500 years ago. The storehouse is turning ceaselessly like a violent stream. Those words matter. The river is not a replacement for the room. In this older map, the image was river from the beginning. A room lets you imagine storage as an object. A river forces you to imagine storage as motion. Seeds are carried in current. They are strengthened, weakened, stirred, and redirected while you answer email, sleep, read news, or rehearse a conversation you will never have. This is why Tuesday's breakthrough can feel honest, and Thursday's contraction can still happen. Tuesday may have touched the groove. It may even have made it a fraction shallower. Then the river kept moving. That is not betrayal. It is the physics of a system that never becomes still. Now watch the reaction become a self. The voice lands. The body contracts. The stamp machine marks the signal as about me. The inference engine arrives after the water has already started flowing, and it has one job: make the reaction intelligible. First story, he disrespected me. Second story, disrespect means danger. Third story, I am angry because I chose to be angry. Each layer feels more personal than the last. Each one gives the reaction a cleaner ownership label. By the end, the whole event feels like a decision made by a stable self in the present moment. But the sequence was already tilted before the story began. The storehouse supplied the tendency. The samplers opened the gate. The stamp machine made it yours. Then the inference engine wrote the courtroom transcript and called it truth. The story may be useful. It may even contain real information, but it is late. This is the second cut. The inner child is not fake, but it is not the mechanism. The character is an access point. The groove is the mechanism. The compressed slogan is the problem. You have seen this machine before. In the first bowl, the inference engine wrote cosmic response around manifestation. In the second, it wrote self-relevance around grind set. Here, at a deeper layer, it writes a character called the inner child, so the body can understand a current it did not consciously choose. The character is not what operates the groove. Grooves answer water, not orders, which means talking may not have failed. It may simply not be the circuit that redirects a channel. So, talking to the child may open the right door. Repetition, condition, counterflow, and new water decide whether the path changes depth. Tuesday's breakthrough can reveal the groove. Only repeated new water changes what Thursday receives. A repeat reaction is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of system timing. Water reached the groove before consciousness wrote its note. The place to work is not this arrived reaction, but the conditions that feed the next one. Empty the bowl and look at the circuit once. When your body reacts before you do, the storehouse has released tendency, the samplers have taken the fragment, the stamp machine has marked it as yours, and the inference engine has made it speak in first person. That is the fourth piece of the diagram. It does not make you helpless. It removes the wrong target. The thing to modify is not a tiny person hidden in a room. It is the current that keeps giving old grooves their water. This week, watch for the half beat when the body tightens and the story has not arrived. And this raises the next problem. Every time you force an emotion down, you may think you stopped the river for a second. But suppression itself may be feeding the same groove while you are congratulating yourself for staying calm. Next bowl, what suppression costs the storehouse, and why staying calm can sometimes become another way of carving the old path deeper.
one gear of the machine that runs your mind. I'm not here to fix you, just taking it apart, one bowl a week. Come do it with me, one bowl at a time.